The shiur is being given the Zecher Nishmas Rachaleya Basav Chaim Tzvi. This shiur is going to focus on inyanim relating to Chanuka, and more specifically, we're first going to examine the well-known mizmor that is commonly sung on Chanuka in many, many circles. And that's the mizmor of Maoz Tzur Yeshuasi. You will have in front of you, Emiyat Hashem, a copy of Maoz Tzur, a mizmor that's primarily known to Ashkenazim. It's not found among Sfardim, nor is it found among Eidot HaMizrach, nor is it found in the Machzoroma, in old Machzorim that date back many, many years ago. The general practice among many, many of the Eidot HaMizrach, of the Sephardic tradition, is to say after Halakas Neros Chanukah, to say Mizmor Lamid, Mizmor Shir Chanukas Habayis David, a mizmor that we have examined in our shiurim on Sefer Tehillim. This mizmor of Maoz Tzur, you can see in the acrostics of the mizmor that the mechaber, his name was Mordechai, and the way it's written, you can see the mem of Maoz, the resh of Maoz, the second paragraph, the third paragraph beginning with Dvir Katsho, the Dalid, the chaf of the fourth paragraph, Kros Komas Berosh Bikesh Agagi Ben Amdasa, the fifth paragraph beginning with the Yud Yivanim Nikbetzu Alai, and the sixth paragraph Chasof Zura Kodshecha Bekarev Yoma Yeshua or Ketza Yeshua. So the name apparently of the Mechaber is Mordechai, and there are even some additional paragraphs. For example, the paragraph which seems to be the end, Chasov Zura Kodshecha, and that paragraph seems to have in it the element of Mordechai, Chazak, and not just Chazak, but we also have even an addition, perhaps beyond that, of Mordechai Chazak ben Yitzchak. Whatever the case is, we don't exactly know whom the mechaber of this particular mizmor was, but it's certainly a mizmor that has become increasingly popular over hundreds of years, and apparently was composed in the 13th century by an unknown poet, Mordechai, and he wove his name in the acrostic form in the initial letters of the stanzas of the poem. As I said, this particular poem, certainly in Ashkenazic circles, is quite popular. What we're going to do is we're going to examine, first we'll go through the mizmor itself, and we'll try to comment on the specifics of the mizmor itself, and then once we have a sense of the mizmor itself, of the nuts and bolts as it were of the mizmor, then from there we'll proceed to examine some of the themes that are found in the mizmor Maoz Tzur. As I mentioned, again, by way of Akdama, that primarily in Ashkenazic circles, this particular mizmor is sung after Halakas Neros Chanukah, and even, for example, Harav Eliyahu Monk, Zechen Libracha, he writes in his Sefer, The World of Tefillah, Olam HaTfilos, he points out that after Halakas Neros, the minhag is to sing this piyut, Maoz Tzur Yeshuasi. And again, I'll mention even the fact that even though we find this mizmor, Maoz Tzur is mentioned in a number of svarim, however, among the Sifrei Halacha, you don't really have mention of it. For example, the Kitzur Shulchan Shlomo Gansri, when he presents the halachas of Halakas Neros, he writes the following. He says, "Ba'layla harishon bevarich hamadlik kedim ha'adlaka shalosh brachos." On the first night, the madlik is going to make 3 brachos. Lahadlik ner shachanuka, she'aseh lisan lavoseinu, the brach of shechiyanu, and then he writes, "Ubishar leilos." On the other nights, Ein Mevarach Shechiyanu. Shechiyanu is not going to be said, as the Gemara comments as the Shulchan Aruch notes, Lacha sheberach habrachos, after the brachos are made, madlik ner echad, you light one candle, uva'ot shemadlika acherim, omer haneres halalim. And while you are lighting the other candles of Chanuka, you say haneres halalim. This is in sync with what's found in Masechet Sofrim. So here we have a very significant halachic sefer from one of the great poskim and one of the obviously very well-known Svarim Kitzur Shulchan Aruch that records the din of Halakas Neros Chanukah without any mention of Maoz Tzur. And in many halachic Svarim, one will not find any specific reference to the idea of Maoz Tzur. However, we find among Sifrei Minhagim Ashkenazim, for example, a sefer that's written actually in the 17th century, Leked Yosher, that is